One of the listeners has said, what should happen about that 3-game ban, do you think, fellas? Well, I think he's got absolutely no chance of getting it overturned because Schar did put his head in there. I mean, we all know what Ben Brereton Diaz did, and it's we just get used to it. Referees, you kind of feel, should be alive to it. They should be picking him up and saying, look, grow up, son, he never touched you. But they're going to just show a red card.
I guess the Newcastle fans won't agree with me. It was an element of justice in their victory. I mean, Southampton had 19 shots to 3. So they were very, very unlucky. Good, because what Brereton did is, look, there wasn't a headbutt. Anybody's ever been headbutted or done a headbutt, and I hate to come sort of working class old geezer on this. If you've been headbutted, you know you've been headbutted, right? Yeah. There was a touch of his head. Brereton was also moving towards him. To throw yourself down like that, to gain an advantage in a football match is pathetic.
Yeah.
And therefore I was delighted and his team got beaten. Absolutely delighted for them. You deserve. Now, Newcastle got the 3 points. They lose the player for 3 games. At least justice was done in the game of football.
I mean, 11 against 11, they were. I mean, I think they would have fared actually better. As Eddie Howe said, it got us going. It got the crowd going.
The crowd were really into it after that, weren't they? Yeah.
And it affected him. I mean, he had a couple of chances.
They were pretty physical. They were trying to get under Newcastle's skin even before the red card. And
I mean,
that's okay. That's okay. Being physical is one thing. Being a sort of cowardly snide, as I think people in my playground would have called him.
Yeah.
I really disliked it, and I was, as I say, delighted for Newcastle as a result of that.
You know, there's a reason why clubs pay like 65 million for Dominic Solanke, because Southampton play well, but they don't take their chances, and that is the difference, isn't it? You do need a top striker. There's no question about it. But you know, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. You can see why Newcastle want Mark Gay as well.
Yeah, well, as everybody was saying, Alan Shearer said after the game that 3 games for Schar means they may now just meet that buyout clause and bring him in. And clearly, Brereton Diaz did learn something when he was playing for Chile. That was quite spectacularly old school South American from the 80s.
It was, Andy. But let's not forget he is a local lad.
He missed 2 great chances as well. So
he did, because I think it got under his skin. He was getting the bird all the time. Anyway,
yes. What do we got next?
We move on to Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
Game over here, Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Bukayo Saka made the goal in the first half. He's just scored the second himself.
First game, you need to get it out of the system. I think we had a really strong start, with really good first half. We should have scored many more goals.
We played well. We made some errors, of course, and as you do in football matches, and they were punished. Arsenal were very clinical with the 2 goals that they scored, but we did trouble them. You know, we did come here and we were in the game for a very, very long time and well in the game.
I was talking to an Arsenal fan who'd been to the game on Saturday evening, Danny, and he said that they didn't play great, Arsenal, but he never doubted for a minute they were going to win the game.
Even if Cunha had scored, they would have got a second goal. They would have done. I thought they were miles better. I thought, really. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. The possession stats, and they're becoming increasingly irrelevant. I don't know why I continue to refer to them, but the possession stats showed a quite equal game. But Arsenal had 19 shots at goal from 50-odd percent possession. That shows that you're doing your possessing in dangerous parts of the pitch. But, I mean, Raya did have to make a tremendous save, didn't he? Let's be fair about that. But you'd expect that. This is a Premier League football match. But overall, if anything other than an Arsenal victory there would have been a distortion of what we were actually seeing with our own eyes. And they are incredibly, what's the right word? They're solid, Arsenal, aren't they? In a way that, teams don't always, even at the top of the Premier League, don't give you the impression. They have tremendous solidity. Their defence is strong. The midfield is strong. Yeah.
And I thought the analysis by Joe Hart right through the programme match today was excellent. You really get insight into the mind of a keeper with him. I thought it was really good. Yeah. Although he's still wearing those armbands, I don't get it.
Yeah. No, that was a big save from Raya, wasn't it? Certainly. But as you said, 47% Wolves out of the ball, which is when you consider.
Yeah, but it was kind of passive possession. That's how I'd characterise it. You're not, Arsenal weren't suffering, to use the modern parlance. Whereas Wolves, Gary can say they were in the game, but they were in the game and suffering. And against the quality of players that Arsenal can bring to bear on the finishing, albeit not with a traditional centre forward, the suffering is liable to be doubled at any moment. Saka was his usual combination of absolutely brilliant and then a total that slight limp fall in the hope of getting a penalty. He is such a brilliant player. I wish he would stop that just because it gives people like me a chance to be slightly gnarly about him.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.